Okay, everyone. So we have two very special guests today, Lisa and Leaona Maguire. My very close friends. I got a chance to spend 2 amazing years with them on the team, and we have really good opportunity here to ask them some questions, right? So they're back home in Ireland, and guys, can you tell me how have you been spending like these quarantine days, and what's it like being home and like pretty much in a lockdown?
Yeah, I mean, it's life's definitely a little different these days. We just got back from Australia, and we're supposed to go back on tour for 7, 8 weeks. We're about to head to Arizona for our West Coast swing, and then obviously we've had a lot of events cancelled. I think we've had 12 events either postponed or cancelled on the LPGA. So um, home was pretty much the safest place for us to be right now. Ireland's pretty much on lockdown. All the golf courses are closed, gyms are closed. It's basically just essential services. So shops and hospitals really are open. So we're just trying to do what we can do here. We've got some gym equipment at home, so we can do our workouts at home. And we're lucky that we live in the countryside, so we can do some practicing at the back garden with a field that we can hit balls into, and just trying to stay sharp and sane, really.
So with this situation, have you picked up any new hobbies, like other than golf and practicing and making fancy videos, like hitting over a house or something?
Yeah,
No, not really. I think we've tried. We've just been trying to do like little games at home, and just trying to occupy ourselves. I mean, the days are really long when you can't go up to the golf course and play and spend a lot of hours up there. So, little board games at home, with the family, and just trying to just anything to keep busy, baking, anything to keep busy.
Lisa, so you recently transitioned from playing professional golf to working with Montez Golf. How has it been? Like, what is your role there? And what is your work like?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different. Obviously, golf was a huge part of my life for 15 years nearly, so wasn't ready to leave the golf world completely. So it was a nice transition to from working inside the ropes to working outside the ropes with Modest. So I suppose this year has been different in a lot of different ways and different now with the current situation we're in. But I'm lucky enough to kind of work in the women's division of Modest Golf, so working behind the scenes with the team there, trying to recruit more players, just organising everything behind the scenes to make players' life a little bit easier. I was lucky enough to travel out to Florida to start the year out in Boca Raton with Leona, and then from there I went down to Australia for a couple of weeks, and obviously the plan was to head back out stateside a couple of weeks ago to spend another time at a run of events out there. So that hasn't exactly gone to plan. But yeah, I suppose a lot of my job over the last number of weeks was kind of redirecting travel, kind of cancelling accommodation, spending a lot of time kind of on hold with airlines and accommodation and hotels, trying to just make sure everything was kind of cancelled and refunded, so that I can kind of be rebooked when the schedule kind of kicks off again.
So, as you guys know, I recently turned professional, and from your extensive experience from like professional side of golf, like, do you guys have any like good advice for me? Like, what should I look for, and how should I make my transition easy as possible once the tour resumes?
yeah. I mean, your schedule is a little bit up in the air right now. I'm sure you're hoping you're going to have lots of events to play in. I mean, Symmetra is no different to LPGA. Every sort of sporting organization in the world now is on hold, so you're gonna have to learn to be patient. um, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of travel involved. You're going to spend a lot of time in airports, either flying to events or long drives throughout the country, which is, I suppose, a little different to college golf. We had events every maybe week or two in the spring, or every 3 weeks maybe. So there's going to be a lot of back-to-back events, especially when golf picks up again. It's going to be hectic. We're going to try and squeeze a lot of events into a short amount of time. So I would say for right now, make sure you're keeping yourself as healthy as possible, as strong as possible, so that you're ready for everything that it throws at you. You're definitely going to be really busy. I suppose we were lucky in that Coach Brooks always taught us the importance of being independent. And I know you're pretty independent as it is, so that's going to stand you well on tour. Knowing your swing really well, so that you know what little adjustments to make week after week on the road. You're not going to have time to have lessons. So instead of taking a video, knowing what to watch out for you in the swing, but really doing what you do best. I mean, you've been doing it for the last 4 years and forever in junior golf too. So it's really not all that different. It's a case of trusting your game, your strengths, and doing what you do best, and just bringing that forward to learning the new golf course as quickly as possible. It's going to be the same for everybody. And you're in a fortunate position now. I guess you've only missed one event on the Symmetric Tour, so you're really not starting from as behind as what you thought you would be. So you're in quite a good position right now.
Yeah, I think we were all very fortunate with like coming from such a demanding program. So maybe like some adjustments regarding how busy we are won't really change that much, or like maybe better prepared us rather than like some other people who didn't attend such demanding programs as we did.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're gonna have a lot more time on your hands now, and that was one of the things for me, knowing what to do with all the free time I had. There's no papers to write, there's no exams to submit. You finish with your round for the day, and you go have lunch, and you don't have to go study anything. You don't have to check your emails from your professors, which is pretty nice. So you've all this free time, so you have to just sort of plan your days. How long are you going to practice, work out, and then time to just chill. You might have to find yourself a new hobby. And stuff like that, so that you're not just literally, it's very easy to just spend all day every day at the golf course practicing, but might not necessarily be the best thing. So it's just a case of planning your day, and you won't have any coaches to do that for you, so you'll just have to take a little bit of ownership over that yourself, and it'll be a little bit of trial and error. You'll find what works for you, and what kind of gets your game in the best shape leading into a competition.
So going back to your times at Duke, what are your favorite memories that come back, like regarding the program and the people around the program?
It seems like so long ago, and it seems like yesterday, all in the same thing when you think about it. I mean, there's so many. Traveling to tournaments was always a lot of fun. We had a lot of long van rides, and we had a lot of airplane rides together. We got to go to a lot of cool places. Palos Verdes was always cool at the start of the year, or the start of the spring, even out to the west coast and out to the beaches and stuff like that. But I mean, any of the tournaments we did really well. The ACCs was always very fun. We had 2 wins in our 4 years. You had 2 wins in your 4 years. The same 2 wins.
Left, so
they were a lot of fun. Yeah, they were a lot of fun, and we had a lot of other good team wins, a lot of other good team performances. East Lake was a lot of fun. I'm gonna say that was our junior year, your freshman year. Yes, that was nice. We got to play that shortly after the Tour Championship was played. Match play format, which suited all the Europeans on our team, which is a little different to what we normally play week in, week out. But yeah, a lot of fun. Almost too many to kind of list.
I'm assuming you guys were following our 2019 NCA Championship. Was there any like special memories you have from that? Anything that stood out like as you were watching?
Yeah, I think we were just jealous we weren't there. I was in Auburn, Alabama, at a Symmetric Tour event. So we were watching the final one day at lunch, I think, and I was sitting with a few Wake girls, actually, Alison Emery and a few of the girls that were there at Wake. So there was a little bit of competitive talk going on, and we were all sort of, people were choosing their sides, even if they weren't Duke or Wake Forest, but they were all picking sides. And yeah, I mean, it was great to see you guys winning the championship, and it was, I mean, every match was so tight, and I suppose there was so many tie holes, and it was funny listening to the commentary of them thinking what was going on behind the scenes and what coach could potentially have been saying to Miranda when she was standing waiting for the Wake girl to pick her drop and all of that. And we kind of knew that what he was probably saying to her was totally different to what the commentators were saying to her. And yeah, it was just nice to see, I suppose, all that hard work paying off, and to see how happy everybody was.
So, Leona, you've had now quite a break from like your last professional tournament. How has your mentality evolved from when you turned pro first and when you finished Duke and until now?
I mean, I wouldn't think the mentality's changed all that much. You're still trying to do your very best. I suppose the only difference is I don't have teammates relying on me anymore. And that was always the big thing at Duke, was trying to post as low a score as possible to help my team out. Now it's just me. It's just me out there. It's me and my caddy. And I suppose that was one thing I had to get used to in professional golf, having from going every week in college to have not very often the coaches walked with me. Usually they were with somebody else and I'd see them maybe once or twice around. And now all of a sudden I had someone standing there for 18 holes every day. And so that was getting used to that and getting used to all the travel. But mentality wise, it's the same, still trying to work as hard as I can, trying to shoot as low a score as I can. So in that regard, college golf and professional golf is not all that different. You're just trying to shoot as low a score as you can. I know a lot of our tournaments have had a lot of birdies. You really need to know how to shoot low. We had a few cuts last year that were pretty low. So you just have to go out and try and shoot as low a score as possible. And the fields are strong every week. It's like playing in nationals every week. So you just really have to try and be on your best game every week.
So looking back at your 2016 Olympics in Rio, how did you prepare for that, and how have you like adjusted your mindset for playing in that event, like going from amateur and college golf to all of a sudden playing in the Olympics and then going back to college golf?
Yeah, I mean, the Rio Olympics was one of the coolest things I've ever been a part of. It really was just a bigger version of college. Really, you stayed in the village. We were in apartments with the entire team. It was kind of almost like being in the dorms, and the village with the big sort of eating hall where it was open 24/7. It was kind of just like a marketplace on a gigantic scale, or like a training table. It was fun. We got to go meals together with the team, just like we did in college. Went to watch other sports compete, just like we did in college. So a lot of it felt pretty comfortable. In that regard, it was just pretty special to be watching all the people that you grew up watching on TV, and then all of a sudden to actually be there was pretty surreal. So yeah, Tokyo was sort of a big goal of mine this year. It was right in a really busy stretch in sort of late July, early August for us. We were going to have the Evian, then go to the Olympics, and then come back and play the Scottish and the British Open. So we were going to have basically 3 of our biggest events of the year in 5 weeks. So the year was centered around that, peaking towards that. So that's kind of changed. We've no idea. Evian's got rescheduled into the same week as the Tokyo Olympics. We don't know yet what's happening with the British and the Scottish. So I suppose that's the thing with our schedule right now. We're just trying to be prepared for whenever we start. We don't know when that's going to be. So it's like a mini off season, treating it like a mini off season, trying to stay sharp, trying to get strong in the gym. And yeah, I mean, we'll be ready to go in 2021 for Tokyo. And at least the good thing is I've had more time to prepare, and hopefully have my game in even better shape for that time around. Yeah.
And now lastly, moving to our time together at Duke, do we have anything special to share with people that is appropriate to share?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose a lot of our memories revolve around food. I would say there's a lot of trips to West Union to get crepes, and lots of fun times at training table together after practice. You moved into our dorm your freshman year. Postseason was always fun because there was always more time to hang out. Nobody had exams or papers or any of that sort of stress. So we definitely had some good times in the dorms during that, when we could just hang out and chill and do stuff.
In my sophomore year, we all lived in Edens, so we could all just like hang out and like walk from training back to our dorms.
Yeah, Edens was cool in that. Yeah, we were all like pretty close, and we could just sort of wander in and out, watch some Netflix, and yeah, just hang out and laugh and chat and do all of that. And I suppose it was team bonding without even realizing it was team bonding.
Yeah. It was so convenient back then. I remember one time you were writing a paper and me and Lisa were watching a movie in your room and you were there writing a paper. So
yeah, no, I mean, definitely missed that aspect of college, that everything's just right there. You had training table was right there, the dorms were right there, the golf course was right there. Everything was, I mean, it was all just, we were in like a little village in ourselves. Definitely sort of missed that aspect of it, that everybody's right there together. And I suppose this quarantine time, everybody's separate as well. So it kind of makes you miss those days a little bit more these days.
Yeah. It put things into perspective, like how we lived maybe like 100 feet apart, and now we live oceans apart. So
yeah, I mean, you wanted something, you just went down the stairs, you just walked across the went and asked it. Or if you're bored or wanted something to do, you just go and see what everybody else was doing. Maybe bring them food, maybe ask them did they want to go get food, or whatever it was, just for a distraction, or have something to go watch a soccer game or lacrosse game or a basketball game or something like that. So yeah, I think we're all missing sort of friends and sports a little bit extra these days.
It's like a mini Olympic village. I feel here.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely what the feeling we got in Rio. It was just Duke, just on a much bigger scale. It was the same. We got on the bus every morning to go to all the different venues. So it felt like we were back on East Campus every morning, catching the C1 or whatever it was. And yeah, so hopefully, I mean, Tokyo is, I mean, the Japanese love their golf, and they put a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money into preparing for the game. So have no doubt that the Olympics are going to be incredible when they do happen. I know everybody wanted it to happen this year, but hopefully be even bigger and better, and more importantly safer, I suppose, next year when it does happen.
Yeah, hopefully we can play together there next year. Now I have a chance to get in there too.
Yeah, it'd be fun. I don't think Slovenia someone playing in the golf last time.
They have 2 professionals, but like I didn't have a chance to like actually get any points for my rankings before because I couldn't turn pro earlier. So now I actually have a chance to make it for next year.
Yeah, that's exciting.
We might be paired together just like in good old days. Yeah. Well, huge thanks to my best friends, Lisa and Leona, for joining us today. And hope everybody enjoys watching this little talk show of the good old friends. And stay safe.